And we've already done our prayer.
Cindy, your mic's muted.
And Cindy, your mic is muted. We can't hear you. We can't hear your lovely voice.
You mean I can see anything now?
Yeah.
Anita, do you want to read that for us?
56.
57
to 68.
Then the people who had arrested Jesus led him to the home of Caiaphus, the high priest, where the teachers of religion, law, and elders had gathered. Meanwhile, Peter followed him at a distance and came to the high priest's courtyard. He went in and sat with the guards and waited to see how it would all end. Inside, the leading priests and the entire high council were trying to find witnesses who would lie about Jesus, not use anyone's testimony. Finally, two men came forward who declared, "This man said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days." Then the high priest stood up and said to Jesus, "Well, aren't you going to answer these charges? What do you have to say for yourself?" But Jesus remained silent. Then the high priest said to him, "I demand in the name of the living God, tell us if you are the Messiah, the Son of God." Jesus replied, "You have said it, and in the future you will see the Son of God seated in the place of power at God's right hand and coming on the clouds of heaven." Then the high priest tore his clothing to show his horror and said, "Blasphemy! Why do we need other witnesses? You have all heard his blasphemy. What is your verdict?" "Guilty," they shouted. "He deserves to die." Then they began to spit in Jesus' face and beat him with their fists, and some slapped him, jeering, "Prophesy to us, you Messiah, who hit you that time."
Yeah, playing a little game with them, right?
Yep.
One of the other Gospels, I think it's Luke, tells us that they blindfolded him. And so, yeah, they would smack him and then say, "Who did it?" Since he couldn't see. Okay, talk a little bit about the Sanhedrin, which is the ruling council. Who makes up the Sanhedrin?
Pharisees,
Is it the high priest,
High priest,
Pharisees, Sadducees, scribes, chief priests?
chief priests, which were
Chief priests.
former high priests and the treasurers of the temple and so on. Yeah,
Basically, there's 120 some odd members to the Sanhedrin.
no, it's 70.
The lower Sanhedrin is 70. The full Sanhedrin is around 120.
Oh, I thought it was all 70.
No.
You sure about that?
Yes,
Because I
sir.
thought it was Josephus that tells us that it's around 70.
For the one in Jerusalem was around 70.
Yeah. And then you got little Sanhedrin councils throughout the land, true enough. Okay, and so the upper ones, that is the high priest, the chief priests, they were made up of Sadducees, which were the more liberal group. They didn't believe in the resurrection, even though Daniel told us there was going to be a resurrection. And then the lower level ones, which was your scribes, your lawyers, they were Pharisees. The ones that Jesus usually has encounters with is the Pharisees. Because the Pharisees are the ones that would go out to the small towns and do services and so on in the synagogues. And so the people were more accustomed to the Pharisees, whereas the Sadducees were in a bit of an ivory tower. It was hard to see those guys.
blue collar and white collar.
Yeah, it's almost like that, exactly. Okay, so this is the ruling council in Jerusalem. The high priest, the chief priests, the Sadducees, they were made up of Sadducees, which were the more liberal group. They didn't believe in the resurrection, even though Daniel told us there was going to be a resurrection. And then the lower levels, which were your scribes, your lawyers, they were Pharisees. The ones that Jesus usually has encounters with is the Pharisees. this is the council that wants to keep peace with the Romans. They have a vested interest in doing so, because if they can keep peace, they can keep making money.
So in order to keep peace, they had to have him condemned?
That's right. That's right. Part of the whole thing, and you'll see it when we have the trial before Pilate, is that there's a lot of economics going on. It's not just religious motivation.
Politics.
So money involved.
Politics.
Yeah.
Well, this is telling me I'm a liar. 71 judges.
There you go.
But I know that I read and have taught before that there are 120 plus.
Yeah.
You
I don't know. I haven't heard that. I've always heard 70. Your 71 is your high priest, is your one.
Okay, it made me out to be false. Wrong.
That's okay.
Well, you can't be right all the time. There was only one preacher that was ever right all the time.
We're never perfect. Who can be perfect?
Okay, so why are they holding this? Probably this is a bit of an informal trial as well. Why are they holding it at Caiaphas's house? Why aren't they back at the temple where they would normally meet as a Sanhedrin? Why is it at Caiaphas'
Because he
house?
is appointed high priest.
He is appointed high priest, but
So
why is he inviting to his house?
the public wouldn't be involved?
Yeah, there's less public involved, right?
I always considered this to be sort of a covert operation.
Yes.
You know, sort of a hidden operation. They didn't want people to know what they were doing to this guy.
Yeah. It's happening at night, right? This informal trial is happening at night.
They didn't want it to be public because Jesus had a lot of followers.
It's in secrecy, which is very similar to what politicians do today, right? I mean, there's so much secrecy going on, and then eventually you find out, and it's like, I can't believe he did this thing, and so on, right? I just found out recently that Germany never voted on becoming part of the EU.
That's right.
Their leader took them into it without the people voting.
And the EU is having some issues of its own with holding on to members.
Big trouble.
Spain is looking at dropping out. Spain, Portugal, and England already has.
Yes, England already backed out under Brexit.
France is not too happy with it.
Yeah.
Well, the way things are running, we might be out of NATO.
Trump keeps opening his mouth, yeah. If he keeps attacking little smaller countries, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, another reason is because they're rushed. This has to get done. It has to be done before the Sabbath. They can't do it on the Sabbath. They cannot kill Jesus on the Sabbath. He has to be down from the cross before that. So Jesus is arrested on Thursday, and by Friday night, he's got to be done with. So it's quicker to go to Caiaphas's house than it is to go all the way back to the temple and so on.
I already got the feeling that this was like Thursday into Friday morning.
Okay, but you have to think of the Jewish reckoning of the day, not ours,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
Jewish reckoning is
Sunset to sunset.
right,
Sunset to sunset.
sunset to sunset, right? That's when the day changes. Okay, so that's why they're doing it at Caiaphas' house. It also gives them a chance to try to get the Sanhedrin together, as many as they want, or as many biased ones that they want.
They were trying to get him to lie.
Yeah, they were going to try to get him to lie. That's true. Okay, so, who is following Jesus here?
Peter.
Peter
Peter.
into the courtyard. So think of it like this, that you have a building that goes all the way around, and in the middle is the courtyard. So it's kind of, it's
Was
Where
not
are all the rest of the
Around the-
disciples?
building, okay?
Right.
That's,
Where are all the rest of the disciples?
Scattered.
yeah, they scattered. So you've got John, who also John has a connection. I don't know if his family is friends with Caiaphus or what it is, but he's got a connection and he can get in.
wasn't John Jesus' cousin?
No.
Was it that
No,
Elizabeth's John?
That's
no, that's John the Baptist.
John the Baptist.
He's
the
already
Apostle.
long dead.
Okay.
John the
Yeah.
Apostle. John the Apostle was the second or third person that was called by Jesus.
Yeah. Probably the youngest of the disciples,
Yeah.
because he lives the longest. He's the last
One of the sons of Zebedee,
Yes, that's right.
sons of thunder.
Earth shook.
I might talk about that.
There is a contrast going on here. Jesus's bold proclamation and Peter's denial, right? Yeah, big contrast here. Okay, what's the purpose of this trial? What are they trying to get?
Jesus'
Witnesses
mouth.
against
Get a
them.
confession out of them. Yep, that they can nail them for.
What you say, Cindy?
Just like, oh, I just said, Anita said,
Witnesses against him.
Yes, bring witnesses against him. Yep.
uh-huh.
They want a verdict of death, but they can't kill him. The Sanhedrin does not have the power to kill citizens. They have to take him to the Roman authorities for that. And that's why the Jews do not kill Jesus. It ends up being the Romans. That's where the line was drawn. So they did have a lot of power. See that. Okay, so they want to put Jesus to death, or at least get that verdict. They bring in witnesses, looking for false evidence from false witnesses.
Okay, so the question I had was this. Now the chief priests and council were seeking false testimony against Jesus that they might put him to death, but they found none. Though many false witnesses came forward, why weren't any of the false witnesses that came forward usable? Until those two.
Well, I guess they were found out that they weren't truthful, because there would be other people there who would have heard too, right? I mean, Jesus' ministry was public.
Right.
But what do they nail them for? What is it that they actually get to stick to Jesus?
That he would destroy the temple of God, destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days.
Right. You remember where that's from? It's in John.
It's
chapter
in John.
2.
It's in John where where they come out of the Mount of Olives and they're looking down over the temple. And John and Jesus says, in the future, none of these things would be like Mark 13. None of these buildings are going to stand.
Mm-hmm.
13
Here
or
it is.
14.
In John chapter 2, starting at verse 18. John chapter 2, verse 18. So the Jews said to him, What what sign do you show us for doing these things? Jesus answered them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up.
Hmm.
And then the Jews respond, it's taken 46 years to build this temple, and you'll raise it up in 3 days? But Jesus is speaking about the temple of his body.
And if you go back to Mark 13, as people came out of the temple, one of his disciples said to him, look, teacher, what wonderful stones and what wonderful buildings. And Jesus says, do you see these great buildings? There will not be one left here upon stone. There will not be left here one stone upon another, and will not be thrown down.
Mm-hmm.
Where in 13 was that?
Mark 13, verse 2.
Ah, I was looking too far down on it.
Yeah. So the temple was the meeting place of God. That's where God met with his people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what Jesus is claiming to be is he is the new temple. We don't look for buildings anymore where we meet with God. The meeting place is in Jesus. That's where we meet God. So for the Jews hearing this, in fact, for even the pagans hearing this, any kind of desecration of temples would have been sacrilegious.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you would probably die for it if you tried to destroy it. And so that's what sticks. So it's considered a capital offense to take down one of those temples. Okay, we'll look at the other things. All right, so why doesn't Jesus answer? Why is he quiet? Is that an admission of guilt?
Well, he basically did say it.
Yes, he did.
For me, I think he was waiting for them to further their asking questions and put them, like, the further you go, they are going to be condemned.
Yeah. Yeah. He's also fulfilling prophecy. If you turn with me to Isaiah 53 in the Old Testament. Of course, Isaiah 53 is yes, about his death and stuff. '53 and verse 7, it says, he was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he opened not his mouth. Mm-hmm. Like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and like a sheep that before its shearers is silent, so he opened not his mouth. He knows what the verdict's going to be already. It's obvious where they're heading.
Sure. This is all prophecy.
So now he's just staying quiet, right? But then the high priest puts him under oath, right?
A jury by the living God. Verse 63.
Yeah, verse 63. He puts him under oath, right?
Yeah.
A jury by the living God, tell us if you are the Christ, in other words, the Messiah, the Son of God. And Jesus said to him, you have said so. In other words, he's saying, yeah, that's exactly who I am.
You got it.
And the next time you'll see me like God coming down in the clouds of heaven. You will not see me again in this weakened state. I will come in great power the next time.
But they don't know what they're going to be looking for, other than him coming down from the clouds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
'Cause
So the next time we see Jesus, that's what it will be. Him coming down in the clouds with great power to judge the nations. That's taken from Daniel 7, right? 7.
Yeah.
I think so. So, again, this fulfills prophecy out of Daniel 7. Oh, by the way, when it says, yes, when it says there in 64, but I tell you, from now on, you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power. Power was a euphemism for God. Okay, just so you know. Because the Jews.
It says in my Bible on God's right hand, so.
Yeah. Okay, but it literally says power. The Jews would use euphemisms for God because they did not pronounce his name. So, like, for instance, in the prodigal son, another euphemism was, what was the prodigal? And I can't remember now. That's what happens when 2 weeks goes by.
I thought that was just what happened when you get old.
Yeah, that too. I'll find it.
People forget things when they get old.
Luke 15.
only I'm allowed.
Yeah. Yes, there it is. Luke 15, verse 21. The prodigal son is coming back to the father. And the son.
Luke 15.
Luke 15, verse 21. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven. There it is, euphemism here. Heaven is just another way of saying God. Okay, because you can't sin against a place. You are sinning against a person.
I haven't used this Bible enough, it doesn't wide open.
Yeah. And by the way, the father in the prodigal son is actually a reference to Jesus.
Go back a bit.
The father in
The
the prodigal son is actually a reference to Jesus. It's not a reference to God the Father. It's a reference to Jesus. Because in the beginning he says, tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to him. The prodigal son represents the tax collectors and the sinners. The Pharisees and the scribes grumbled. That's the quote unquote obedient son, right?
Yeah.
And they were drawing near to Jesus, right? So the father is actually a reference to Jesus.
Okay.
That's just an aside. You can pay me later for that one.
Oh, just a minute. Just a minute.
Didn't you have a $2 bill?
Oh, I got something better. I got something better.
Oh my goodness. What is this one?
It's Arabic.
It's Arabic. Yes.
I'm coming up with all kinds of.
Yeah, I can see that. You're trying to get rid of all your money.
I got a bunch of Sacagaweas.
It's not good to read.
Yeah, you may, for sure. Here.
When she's talking about Sacagawea, it's when we had those, we were minting dollar coins
Oh, yeah.
with different characters on it, and just, they had one series of dollar coins that was Sacagawea, the Indian princess that guided Lewis and Clark
Oh, yeah.
across the plains.
Oh.
I was surprised I even found that one.
Okay, so how does the high priest react to Jesus' answers?
Oh my God.
Tore his clothes off and said, "Blasphemy!"
Blasphemy is one, yes. And by the way, blasphemy is grounds for the death penalty by stoning. You'll find that in Leviticus 24, verses 10 to 23. What else?
Well, like I said, tore his robes.
He tore his robe.
That's a very common thing with the Jewish,
Yes.
in the Jewish tradition. When something is so grievous, your heart is broken so badly,
Yeah,
tear your robes.
that's right.
They
Flashy.
did. Huh?
Very flashy.
I don't know about flashy, but
Dramatic.
dramatic.
Yeah,
Very dramatic.
it shows seriousness. It's
And they still do that in Jewish.
sometimes it's grief.
They still do that in the Jewish families now when someone dies, you know, that's close to you. You tear your robes off. You pour ashes on your head.
Oh, yes.
Wear black sackcloth.
I'm not sure when you're going to be reading Jonah. But if you go to Jonah and the big fish, there's a section in there where the
Ninevites.
the Ninevites are grieving the sins that they committed against God. So they began to wear sackcloth, which is that very like burlappy material. They began to wear sackcloth clothing, pouring ashes on their heads, you know, all signs of great mourning and grief.
Sackcloth. Many years ago, they used to use that for potato sacks.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now it's more plastic.
Yeah, most of it's
Yeah,
plastic.
yeah, it's even-
But that was a very coarse material.
yeah.
You know,
Scratch, yeah.
and we used it on the farm for seed and stuff like that. And I tell you, if you wanted to lay down for a nap, that's not the place to lay down. That stuff was so scratchy. It's
Okay,
like laying on a bale of hay.
Yeah. Look
All right.
with me at Leviticus 21 and verse 10. Leviticus 21, verse 10. Third book in the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus.
Where's the chapter?
20,
What chapter?
chapter 21.
Oh, I
verse
got it to
10.
the right page. What do you know?
There you go. How about you read it for us then, Anita? You're already there.
What verses?
Just verse 10.
Just verse 10. Okay, 10. The high priest has the highest rank of all the priests. The anointing oil has been poured on his head, and he has been ordained to wear the priestly garments. He must never leave his hair uncombed or tear his clothing.
He should never tear his clothing.
Mm.
It was against the law for the high priest to tear his robes when Jesus said, "I am the Messiah, the Son of
And
God."
he did it anyhow.
But he did it anyway. See, I told you the Sadducees are a little bit more liberal than the Pharisees. Okay, the other thing was there was no more need for witnesses. They figured it all.
He admitted.
And he recommends them. He recommends Jesus for death. The high priest does. Imagine that, eh? That's it's pretty cruel. to actually recommend somebody for death when all you've been able to do is just get false witnesses. Your case is so weak. Okay,
Problem is his false witnesses didn't make a difference anyway, because he was planning to go to the cross. That's what his intent was.
it was going to happen no matter what.
And it was going to happen. And basically, he admitted to it just because I guess he got tired of being harassed.
Yeah.
Oh, stop talking so much.
Okay, what kind of abuse did Jesus endure?
Slapping, punching.
Yes,
The spitting.
the spitting. The slapping could also be clubbing. Could be like with your hand, or it could be with a club across the head.
They mention all three on that last, on 67, so. They said spit in his face and beat him with their fists, and then some slapped him.
Yeah, what else did they do?
They jeered at him.
Yeah, taunted him, jeered. And then one more thing, and it's found in Mark 14, the parallel account, which is the next book over.
They,
Just giggling off the top of your head, eh? What's
Blindfolding him? They blindfolded him?
Yeah, they blindfolded him, that's right. Yeah. Not mentioned in Matthew, but it's mentioned in Mark.
Where is it, Mark? What?
14 verse 65. So we're already beginning to see what we call the passion or the suffering of the Messiah, right? And it begins here. It begins actually with Annas, right? And it continues on here with Caiaphus, and it will continue on, as we'll see with Pilate.
physical abuse?
Yeah.
And this day and age, if you hit somebody like that, even if a guard hits somebody like that, it's a grievous offense.
Oh, yes.
Do that to a prisoner now, you end up being fired.
You'll be the prisoner.
Yeah.
Can't even spank the kids.
You know what? Henry Hahn's dad is released. He has a monitor, that's it.
Yeah.
They didn't put him in jail. They didn't do anything to him.
No jail time.
No jail time. He's walking the streets.
What was his?
My godson,
You know the fellow that comes to play the piano.
my godson's father went into their house. Henry wasn't living there at the time. Went into the house and set fire in front of his wife's bedroom door. His wife ended up jumping out the back window 2 stories. His daughter came out of her bedroom and started beating him up. And he was arrested and so on. But they couldn't find him for a couple of days, but then they found him and arrested him.
How did he ever get off?
Yeah, they had to move so that he would.
Yeah, they
find
sold her.
them.
So she was so afraid now. She's so afraid now that they sold their house. They moved to a different place.
And they won't tell
They
anybody.
won't tell anybody where they live anymore. I mean, this guy deserves to be punished. And they're not doing anything. They put him on the monitor so he couldn't get near her.
So his lawyer must have convinced the judge.
I think probably he convinced the judge that it was a one-off
Yeah.
out of a drunken fit or something. I don't know.
Temporary insanity.
That's most of them.
Right.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Because the family is still dealing with the whole issue of
Sure.
living in fear and so on. It's on loose.
Grace isn't afraid. She's been kickboxing for years,
Oh, she's kickboxing.
taekwondo.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
That is her boyfriend is taekwondo instructor.
Oh, her boyfriend's
Martial
the
art.
instructor?
Yeah. Grace's boyfriend.
Oh, okay.
Martial arts is it's lethal.
Can be.
Yeah.
You know, I went to school with a fellow and they got married. And his wife went back to China or Japan, somewhere over there, and spent for a few years. And they came back. They had to be registered.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
They were that lethal?
Mhm.
I guess when you get to a certain level. Maybe.
They went right to the top.
Okay.
Interesting.
So any other thoughts about this stuff? Who is it that struck you?
Well, it doesn't say, does it?
No,
It doesn't say which
taunting them.
they taunted him.
Yeah.
And that to me, when you're taunted, it might be a slap.
That's a psychological torture.
Yeah.
They do it on the cross too. Right?
Which
Remember?
Jesus
They go
doesn't
by
seem to
and
be
they
affected.
ask them, well, if you healed all these people and stuff, come on off the cross.
Yeah, if you're the Christ, come on down. Yeah. Why don't you have your father save you now? Because he had to take that last step. He had to die.
Any comments, lady?
Nope, had to fulfill the prophecy.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I wasn't there last week.
Neither was I.
Oh, no,
We didn't
you
have
know,
thumbs last year.
you
Shouldn't
see,
have had it this
I'm allowed to forget. Eh? I'm allowed to forget.
Well, time just travels so fluidly over you that you wouldn't even realize that you weren't here.
But when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane,
It's 70. Right?
and he asked the disciples to stay awake, they all fell asleep.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in the garden, I knelt on where he was at, if they got a bench there.
Oh, okay.
And I just let myself go, and I could feel it. I could feel what was going all around.
Yeah. And you fell asleep.
I couldn't fall asleep. It was just so,
It was overwhelming, right?
oh, that whole trip to Israel, to Jerusalem, that weekend was just overwhelming.
Mm.
It's to grasp it all and to
Yeah.
walk where they actually walked. Now, the old city of Jerusalem is all covered up, but if you let the Spirit come as you're walking down, it just envelops you.
Mm.
And when I went into where they were singing, I started to cry. It was just,
There's a church near there?
well, they
Your
built it
garden?
like where they built the crosses. It's all built up, but they have like a small chapel sort of thing, and they're all singing in Latin.
Mm-hmm.
And we had come into one door, and they showed us where the cross was, and we went around and into this sort of chapel, and all this singing. I was just bawling because you could feel everything if you let yourself go.
Right.
And our guide made sure that he could see out all this, and he made sure that I was going where I was supposed to go. That was that Good Friday was just,
Oh, you were there on Good Friday?
yeah. That's why it was just
Right.
Good Friday. I was there for Easter Sunday. And it was, I still get goosebumps.
I can imagine.
Anybody that has gone come back with the same overwhelmness when this season comes by. I wasn't there for the Sunday, but we had traveled before that, after that.
Where did Cindy go?
Cindy's over there on her bed doing something.
Oh. Okay.
Why? I'm listening. Just
You're-
didn't join the conversation.
I didn't have anything to say, and it was my sister asking where you were. She missed you.
I miss seeing your face. I don't get to see it in person.
Really? Yeah, I cannot travel. So sorry. Only Mac can drive. I can.
Oh, well.
Last time she saw Anita was in Michigan.
I was up in
Family
China
reunion.
once, or I was up there once. I was up
Family
there to
reunion.
her
That's it.
family once.
Yeah, you were up here once. But I'm saying the last time you saw Cindy. Not all
Ah,
the times you've seen her, but the last time you saw her.
Washington.
No. It was in Michigan.
Oh, family reunion.
Yes.
Yeah. See whose memory is the best, right? We all getting old.
I have so many things going on. Half the time I don't remember what happened yesterday morning.
What was your name?
It's just been so long, you know.
Yeah. Who
I
would like
miss
to
getting
close
to
this
see my family.
Who would like to close this up in prayer today?
Father, thank you for this chance to have Flavio and Matthew help us understand what happened to Jesus and his last days. And thank you for a chance to get together for this study and make things clearer to us. We need all the help we can get. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.